Oh my god! Okay guys, so I feel like absolute crap today, and that means I'm gonna try to rush through the stories because there's really not that much interesting stuff going on. I'm wearing the mask to stay topical with the whole quarantine situation, but I fear you guys probably can't hear me, so I'm gonna take it off. And now you can see my red nostrils. Before we begin, I just want to remind you guys to join the Discord link below, and if you want a Kingu sticker, then make sure to join the Kingudom and ask for one in the Discord. So yeah, this is Weeaboo Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining. Weeaboo Wednesday is, of course, when I take Japanese and Japan and anime and gaming news and smush it all together in this news segment. Like I said, the stories were a little light this week, kind of boring, so I tried to figure the most interesting stuff and pack it into this. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Evangelion related. And it would seem that it's been revealed that the logos for the Evangelion Rebuild series, all of the Evangelion 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever I just said, all of those have been handwritten by Hideaki Anno himself. If you don't know, Hideaki Anno is basically the father of Evangelion. He's the guy that's pretty much made all of it. So he's a pretty important figure with Evangelion, and he stayed with the company and really actually created a new company with Kara instead of staying with Gainax to basically handle specifically Evangelion, because Evangelion in and of itself is a whole industry. So yeah, on Twitter, he actually showed off some images of basically like paper with the handwritten logos on it. Very cool, stylized, of course, English logos. Apparently, he did this with some sort of special pen that his wife gave him, basically some sort of like manga pen, essentially. And she gave it to him as a gift, and he was just writing up a name, and that's how it came out. And also, people are comparing his handwriting there with handwriting from the show, thinking that maybe he had more of a hand as well in writing some of the stuff that was actually in the animation of the show. This, of course, is like some of the handwriting that was on the picture Misato gave to Shinji, as well as just some other signs that were handwritten up as well. Pretty interesting little tidbit there, fun little Easter egg. Chance Encounter of Goldic Party is an event name for one of the things being shown off for the 10th anniversary of Steins Gate. Steins Gate, of course, being a great visual novel and anime series that is just awesome. But evidently in this little event that they're doing, they have Hello Kitty traveling back in time with the Steins Gate characters. So yeah, there's just some weird little thing with like a prologue that has Hello Kitty joining the cast of Steins Gate and being part of the story as just, of course, a cute little one-off. Now, this is all part of the 10th anniversary for Steins Gate, and they plan to actually have 10 announcements that would basically wrap up a big event of them doing different cool stuff to commemorate this anniversary. Another one was a stamp rally in Akihabara, which is awesome, and I really wish I could have participated in that, but woe is me. Kind of weird though to see Hello Kitty jump from Hello Kitty to then Hello Kitty versus Gundam to now Hello Kitty in Steins Gate. It's just crazy. Where won't they shove this thing? Don't answer that question. Japan Post has suspended their shipments of EMS to the United States. Now, if you are a fan of Japanese figures and stuff like that, like me, you'll understand that EMS is typically the better service to get when you are shipping stuff internationally. It's usually the faster method of getting stuff from Japan to America, though it typically can be a bit pricey. Now, recently they said that their SAL shipments were also going to be suspended. Now, this was back much earlier, but now they've limited the EMS as well, meaning they're basically not shipping anything unless I guess it's through maybe DHL out of the country, so that makes me a little fearful. My big fear was whether or not I was going to get the figures I had ordered from the websites that I had ordered them from, and the answer to that was kind of yes and no. I just recently got an invoice from AmiAmi for my pre-orders from this month. But of course, Polyme and Kelly has been forwarded yet again and pushed to another month. And I think we're at the point where she's been pushed up like 3 times now, so getting ready to just end it all. I was able to pay for my order, so it does show that the companies are still fulfilling pre-orders. But the problem is when the hell are they going to get here? Because with the state of emergency in Japan, who knows when they'll pick back up shipments again. I'm hoping that it's soon, because I'm running out of figures here to review for the channel, and obviously enough, I have a lot of stuff pre-ordered for Japanese orders, and God forbid I have to pay for that all at once, and it all comes in one giant order. It's going to be a mess. Otacon has recently announced that it has canceled Otacon 2020. Otacon's one of the bigger East Coast conventions here in America. I actually was going to it year after year. I stopped going after they moved it to DC because DC is just a disgusting place. Regardless of that, yeah, they canceled it recently. They announced that it's going to come back next year, and they pretty much tried to reduce the size. They were looking at every way that they could try to keep it open, but there's just no way that they can run it right now. So they're going to bring it back in 2021, and they're already making the mascots, which are the two red-haired anime characters, kind of one of them's carrying the Olympic flame and the other one's sort of dressed in, I guess, athlete's gear. It still sucks for all the people that were looking forward to cons this summer, but I mean, sometimes that's just what happens. This is a very peculiar time to be a fan of anime, or to be just alive. The Kyoto Animations building that was attacked by an arsonist has finally been demolished. The first animation building that they came up with, or their first studio building, has been demolished. Obviously enough, after the fire damage, it was in a place of basically just irreparable damage. It was in disarray to the point where they basically said that they couldn't do anything with it, so it was knocked down. Now, as for what they're going to do with it, they have still not yet fully decided. They say they want to go over the decision with the bereaving families for the people who have actually suffered from this attack, the people whose family were attacked in the building, the people that may have died or been injured. Those people are going to basically have a part in figuring out what they want to do with that building, which I think is really fair. Still really sad to see. My respects go out to Kyoto Animation and all the people that were affected by that. Great people. They didn't deserve it. It was just one crazy dude doing something stupid. There's a Korean smartphone game that went up, and it was called Gwisal-ui, which is the ear-slaying sword. What a weird name. It was a Korean mobile game that, after being launched, was shut down within 5 days of it being alive. Basically, the idea was that the main character in this game looked a hell of a lot like Tanjiro from Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer, and evidently his story was also very heavily reminiscent of Tanjiro's as well. His family had been attacked by demons, he was trying to avenge them, so on and so forth, and the visual aspects of this game were just so similar to Kimetsu no Yaiba in a couple different ways, and it's just really funny that they tried to get away with this. But obviously enough, this happens all the time with games that are, I guess, kind of just taking the art style and trying to make it their own, but they got hit hard with the claims of plagiarism. The staff apologized for their immaturity and causing discomfort to others. The game has been completely nuked, and they had previously made it so that you couldn't make in-game purchases as well with this in sight. So nobody's losing too much money except for the people, of course, that put time into making this functioning game. My heart goes out to them in some respect, but at the same time, if you are trying to steal something, you're gonna get hit with the ban hammer. And with something as hot and popular and current as Kimetsu no Yaiba, they should have known what they were doing. Now, the game developers denied the accusations, though. They basically said that that wasn't true, that people only think the two properties are similar because of the Japanese-style clothing and the premise of fighting demons. But, I mean, the visual aspects are pretty striking. But in addition to them saying that they were plagiarizing from Kimetsu no Yaiba, it was also said that there were other aspects of the game that resembled another Korean smartphone game called Swordmaster Story. I'm not even going to try to read the Korean name. So, it just seems like all around they were doing a lot of slimy stuff, which is commonplace for mobile game developers. So, you get what you deserve. The Olympics Committee president has said that the Olympic Games will be scrapped if they are not held in 2021. So I guess after the fallout of this COVID-19 nonsense, and everything's been said and done, and everything's behind us, they basically are saying that if they don't get to hold the games next year, they're not going to hold out until the next year. I'm sure that tons of resource is going into them trying to host this and make it as amazing as possible. Japan isn't going to be a country that's going to do this lightly and make it lackluster. They want this to be their shining pride and joy, I'm sure. It's a big deal for the Olympics to come to your country because they only come around every so often. So it was a really big deal that they were getting it this year, and obviously enough, it really sucks that it had to move forward. Now, with that said, there's a lot of stuff that goes on contractually as far as being able to book venues and host things and all the accommodations that have to go to the athletes and of course the crowds, the tourism that comes along with it. There's so many different tentacles to this that are all reaching out and grabbing on different things. And basically, it's a big amount of complicated trouble. Not trouble, but I guess it's just a lot of stuff going on. And honestly, I don't understand. And honestly, I don't blame them for saying, you know, after a year or two in debate. And I honestly don't blame them for after maybe a year or two of this thing being pending, if they decided to say, you know what, this isn't worth all the stress. I'm sure that they want it, but the pain is probably too great to bear. Now, the Olympic Games have been canceled before for major worldly events such as war and stuff like that, so this wouldn't be unheard of. But obviously enough, it would really suck. And I really hope that they do get to hold them, because they put so much into this already that they really do deserve to get it next year. And I really think and pray and hope that we're going to be fine by then. Deadly Premonition is a pretty popular game series. It's kind of a weird little game. I never really got into it myself, but a lot of people seem to be pretty happy about this announcement, because it would seem that Deadly Premonition 2 is going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, will launch July 10th for the Nintendo Switch, and it would seem so far that that is an exclusive launch. I don't see anything about it coming out later on any other consoles. I'm sure it'll eventually wind up on PC, maybe PlayStation 4. I'm not quite sure what the way that the releases are going to go with the new consoles, but yeah, so far, so good. They released a trailer, people are hyped, so if you're into that, get excited. Thanks so much for watching. This video was kind of miserable because I'm just in a bad mood for not feeling well, and I'm really getting irritated because they pushed back Kelly yet again. If we don't get this Polynean goddess of thickness soon, I will be very upset because I want to be arrested by this cop, and it's just not happening. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to, click something over here. It helps the channel. Click it even if you've seen it. Like the video as well. Subscribe. All of these are the best ways to support the channel. I'm going to try to find some figures to review, and until next time, I love you, stay safe, and, I don't know, some kind of cool tagline. You're always welcome in this kingdom, peasant. Just don't get sick. I don't know.